Good morning and welcome. My name is Lisa Fikes, and I serve as the acting president and CEO of the Leadership Center for Excellence. For over 20 years, it's been our mission to enlighten, inspire, and connect individuals through leadership development and community building. Until now, this year, and this yearly event, has been in person and centered in Arlington. On the 7th year, we joined forces with Leadership Fairfax to bring to you today the 2021 Northern Virginia 40 Under 40 Awards. I'm honored today to share this virtual stage with my colleague, Karen Cleveland, the president and CEO of Leadership Fairfax. Thanks for joining us, Karen.
Great. Thank you, Lisa. Leadership Fairfax is pleased to join the Leadership Center today in honoring 40 amazing individuals who are making an incredible difference in our community and in the region. Both Lisa and I want to welcome all of you and thank you for joining us for this virtual celebration today. I am loving this shindig. It's just awesome to see you all dancing around the screen, and the music's fabulous. Thank you. Leadership is for sure a journey, and our various programs in Arlington and Fairfax create opportunities for us to share our journey with people of all ages. We truly delight in celebrating individuals who truly care about making a difference, not just for themselves and their profession, but for the good of all they serve. And today we're excited to introduce you to all of them in this beautiful virtual space. There are two ways to connect. The first one, as you already have been playing with, and then on your screen at any time in the lower left-hand corner, there is a virtual program. So you can look at that and learn all about our honorees today. It's beautiful. So at any point, feel free to go and check that out. Lisa?
Thanks, Karen. Additionally, if you haven't had a chance to play with the Shindig platform, we hope you'll do so. There'll be a time for a networking break, and we hope that you'll enjoy taking advantage of this platform. Join a video chat and begin a conversation. Up to 6 people can gather in a group, so we hope you'll take advantage of that today. There's also some tech support, so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to them. At this point, it's my honor to invite Elaine Turville, Managing Director at Accenture Federal Services, to the podium. Elaine currently serves as the board chair at the Leadership Center for Excellence. Thanks for being with us today, Elaine.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Lisa and Karen. On behalf of the Leadership Center of Excellence Board of Regents, I would also like to congratulate our Northern Virginia 40 Under 40 honorees who are joining us here today, as well as their friends, family members, and colleagues who, through their support, empower and encourage these trailblazers to aim high in all they do and all they are. This year's Northern Virginia 40 Under 40 honorees are truly inspiring. I got to connect with a number of them already and got to see some of their families, so it's pretty awesome. The honorees come from diverse backgrounds and perspectives and represent the private, nonprofit, and public sectors. Each individual demonstrates exceptional leadership in their personal or professional spheres and are devoted to making a difference within our community. We want all of you to see a bit of the spirit we saw in each of their nominations. Later in the program, you will have a chance to hear some of their reflections on leadership. Their responses to the questions we posed are powerful examples of the leadership we celebrate today and certainly give me hope for the days to come. I am now excited to introduce you to my LCE board colleague, Stephen Leach, Director of D&I People and Culture at Walt Disney Studios. Hi, Stephen.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Lisa and Karen, and great to share the stage with our board chair and my friend Elaine. Hello, 40 Under 40 honorees. I'm going to be honest. When Lisa first reached out asking me to participate in this event, I thought she was notifying me that I was going to be an honoree myself. So I was immediately flattered and humbled, really for 2 reasons. One, this is an incredible accomplishment that each of you should be very proud of. And 2, I thought she thought I was under 40. So she quickly let me know I was in fact not one of the honorees, but she wanted me to come and share some words of congratulations. And she also let me know that I unfortunately do not qualify since I am well over 40 years old. So thank you so much, Lisa, for that reminder. All right, now picture this. A beautiful community on top of a hill, a raging plague tearing through a city, social unrest on every corner, separate factions within the city warring with one another, families being viciously torn apart, deadly violence in the streets. Now, with that, you probably think I'm describing the plot for one of our upcoming Marvel Studios blockbuster superhero films. And in this case, I really wish I was. Actually, I'm just sharing some headlines and themes of recent articles in the Washington Post. I'm sharing this to acknowledge the current reality that we are all living in is very, very challenging. And during these most challenging times, the one constant that will get us through is leadership. The principles of leadership are more needed now than ever before. We need strong leaders to step forward and guide our city, guide our country, guide our world out of these most desperate times. And for me, getting a chance to meet the incredible honorees for this year's 40 Under 40 and learning your stories, your inspirations, and your driving force, not only am I inspired beyond belief, but I'm convinced that we have the right superheroes here in this community ready to take on all the challenges I mentioned, and to take them on with strength, with poise, with grace, and humility, and resiliency. Psychologists define resilience as the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, or threats. And that's what you've done and what you continue to do. And for that, I applaud you. At Walt Disney Studios, storytelling is the heart of our work, and authenticity is essential in connecting with our audiences. We know that when we do this well, we have the potential to make a global impact, to increase affinity for our stories and characters, and inspire generations. Part of my jobs at the studios is to constantly and consistently challenge our filmmakers within Marvel, Pixar, Walt Disney Animation, Lucasfilm, and 20th Century to think and create differently and not rely on conventional wisdom. Because nothing that we're dealing with in this moment, a global pandemic, racial and ethnic violence, division amongst our people, is conventional. The phrase that keeps being used over and over and over again is we're living in unprecedented times. So with that, we must act in unprecedented ways. Leadership today is hard. It's nuanced, it's complicated, it's demanding, it's even exhausting at times. But if we can constantly and consistently challenge each other to not use conventional wisdom when acting or making decisions, but rather be bold and meet these demands head on, we'll be able to get through these unprecedented times with flying colors. As Elaine mentioned, we're going to hear from each of you on what is your favorite leadership quote or what inspires you to greatness. But thought I would share one of my favorite quotes with you. Now, this quote just happens to come from the founder of my company. I had to go there, Walt Disney. As part of a TV interview back in 1954, Walt was asked about the state of the company. And what he said was pretty profound. He said, "I hope we never lose sight of one thing, that this was all started by a mouse." Now, he founded the company in 1923 and had tremendous success during the first 30 years. But not even Walt could have imagined what his company would later become and exemplify today. This quote truly underscores the fact that as leaders, it's important that we set goals and meet our goals no matter the obstacles or challenges ahead of us. That we dream big enough that it scares us. And if an opportunity doesn't present itself, you create one. One simple idea can change the whole trajectory and course of your life and the world for that matter. And taking that one step today to make your dream come true tomorrow is something that we as leaders must all embrace. Walt started with a mouse, a simple drawing of a mouse, but he had a vision, he had faith in his vision, and he worked incredibly hard. He also had the courage to take some pretty crazy chances. And his story isn't all happily ever after. He had some major challenges along the way, but that didn't slow him down. As leaders, you're living that reality right now. You're managing teams and organizations during one of the worst crises this world has ever seen. And what I'm seeing is you embracing your responsibilities as a leader and driving your teams through these challenges. So certainly celebrate today's accomplishments, but don't stop. We need you. This community needs you. Continue striving for success, and you will find it bigger and broader than you ever dreamed. So judging by the incredible leadership, talent, passion, integrity, courage, and innovation in this virtual room. I believe the future of Northern Virginia, the greater DMV, and the future of the world is in extremely wonderful hands. So congratulations to each of you on this incredible honor. And here's wishing for precedented times ahead, and hopefully soon. Cheers to you all. And with that, let's take a look at our first group of honorees.
See life through a baseball lens. So I think I've looked at the last year or so as kind of being down in the count or behind in the game. And I asked myself what kind of leader I would want as a teammate in a situation like that. And I want somebody who turns to the team and says, we can do this, we can fix this, we can get through this. And that's the type of leader I hope to be.
My favorite leadership quote comes from Bell Hooks, Black American scholar and sociologist. The quote says, "Critically intervene in a way that challenges and changes," which I see as a personal call to action as an advocate and agitator of good trouble, to call out inequities and to inspire others to engage in transformational critical thinking that will result in sustainable difference.
My favorite leadership quote, which inspires or challenges me, comes from Angela Duckworth, author of the book Grit. Angela states, "I won't just have a job, I'll have a calling. I'll challenge myself every day. When I get knocked down, I'll get back up. I may not be the smartest person in the room, but I'll strive to be the grittiest."
We need courageous, patient, persistent, and empathetic leaders. Leaders who intentionally seek the wisdom of people from marginalized groups and those with lived experiences. Leaders who listen. We need creative thinking. Leaders who take action to advance social justice and racial equity. Words are powerful. Actions implement change. Most of all, we need leaders who lift others up, who lift us all up together.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg once said, "Fight for the things you care about, but do it in a way that lead others to join you." To me, leadership is less about gaining followers and more about listening to and learning from other people. Ultimately, inspiring and empowering people who may then become leaders of their own.
In 20 years, I would love to be remembered as a leader who was an advocate for change, justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. Someone who cultivated people to reach their full potential. Someone who cared, and someone who fought for everything that was right, even when it didn't always feel right, but it was necessary.
Hello, my name is Jordan Costen-Sumpter, and one of the quotes that I think about when it comes to leadership is be the change you want to see. As executive director of Safe Space Nova, I founded our organization just based off the idea that there was no nonprofit that was actually paying attention to LGBTQ youth, offering them programming, which was so much needed in Northern Virginia. So here we are. So I encourage everybody out there, if you see a need in the community, go and fill that need.
My favorite leadership quote is by John C. Maxwell, who says, "Life is 10% what happens to me, 90% how I react to it." And as leaders, we must constantly grow and evolve so that no matter what life throws at us, we are empowered to react in such a way that is constructive, beneficial, and of service to others.
I'd love to be remembered as a change maker, servant leader, and someone that had the passion to inspire others to impact the local and global community.
So if someone was reflecting back and telling my story 20 years from now, I'd hope they say that I rose to the challenge of leadership even when times were really tough. And I'd hope they say that I was someone who made sure to choose the right leaders to follow, and I was able to be just as good of a follower as a leader.
You don't have to have a big title to be a leader. You just have to have heart. People would rather work for somebody with heart that takes care of them than to have somebody that has a big fancy title.
In addition to emotional intelligence and agility, the most important leadership quality in the next year is going to be a leader's effectiveness at setting a clear vision. While so many people are going to desire to go back to a previous version of normal, effective leaders are going to be able to bring people into a new normal, and vision plays a key role in that.
People we serve and our colleagues are all going to have different realities to return to, with some being able to go back to pre-pandemic routines and others not. So I think as leaders, it's important for us to advocate for system changes that can help people be successful in these new realities, but also work with people to develop individualized tools that will help them adjust to their new realities as well.
The leadership lesson that has hit home the most for me over the past year has been the importance of hiring for soft skills as much as for hard skills, to just really get the right people on the team. I have been so impressed by our team and their ability to adapt and to be creative, to solve problems we never knew would have existed a year ago. And all of that has just been possible because we have the right people on the team. So I think that's been something I've really learned over the pandemic.
A quote that inspires me is by Lisa Cash Hansen. She says that leadership is the ability to guide others without force into a direction or a decision that still leaves them feeling empowered and accomplished.
Leading into this next year means that we are going to need to be committed to creating access to excellence and opportunities for those around us. This includes doing the hard work around anti-racism and understanding ways that we can build a more inclusive community around us.
More than ever, the world cares most about what we can do with what we know. This is because all human knowledge is freely available, with more possibility to create, connect, and understand than ever before. Therefore, leaders must have clarity among all the irrelevant information. This means isolating the most vital details of a problem while rapidly applying complex and effective tools to solve them. That is what leaders need most today.
My favorite leadership quote comes from my favorite book, Warriors Don't Cry by Melba Battillo-Beals. It says, "Until I am welcome everywhere simply because I am a human. I'm a warrior in a battlefield that I must not leave. I continue to be a warrior who does not cry, but instead takes action."
Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu said, "Go to the people, live with them, learn from them, love them. Start with what they know, build from what they have." And with the best leaders, when the work is done and the task accomplished, the people will say, "We have done this ourselves."
The biggest leadership lesson I learned over this last year is that no company is built on an island. It's taken a whole community of people who are not only bought into our vision, but can contribute intellectually and culturally to helping us build it. I'm incredibly grateful for my team and our clients in our community for being a part of our successes in this challenging year.
Inspiring group of individuals, aren't they? If you haven't had a chance to take a look at the virtual program, we encourage you to click on the button in the lower left-hand portion of your screen and look at their biographies. Definitely an amazing group of people. And there are 20 more to come. I also want to offer a special thanks to Stephen Leach, our special guest speaker today. And Stephen, no matter how old you are, you will always be remembered in my mind as my 39-year-old friend. Everybody enjoy a 5-minute break at this point. We encourage you to connect with other people in the room, and we'll join you back here in 5 minutes.
back, everyone. I hope you had a chance to stretch your legs and get to meet some more of the honorees and their families. It's really fun to just zip in and zip out, and it's such an easy platform to use. So now we're going to hear from our second set of honorees. Enjoy.
This past year has presented many challenges from the pandemic and racial inequities that permeate in our society. In the wake of all the uncertainties, love and compassion have helped me stay grounded. And while we have a lot of work to do ahead of us in the years to come, it's my hope that we will continue finding meaning through the connections we have formed with our friends, our colleagues, biological and chosen family, but most importantly, as a community.
My favorite leadership quote that inspires me is by Sheryl Sandberg. Leadership is about making others better as a result of your presence and making sure that impact lasts in your absence.
The most meaningful way to succeed is to help others succeed. Wise words from Adam Grant, and something so meaningful to me today as I think about everyone who's supported me along the way in my career, from mentors taking time from busy schedules, to managers telling me to run without stopping, and my role that it is to support everyone around me succeed and build towards a better community. Thank you.
I want to be remembered for 3 things. 1, my authenticity. 2, my compassion. And 3, for building other people up. Because as Maya Angelou once said, people will forget what you did, people will forget what you said, but people will never forget how you made them feel.
Hi, I'm Scott Reamy with Dominion Energy. Over the past year as a leader, I've learned so much about my own priorities and those of my team. Amidst the teleconferences are literal glimpses into people's personal lives, their homes, their decor, their kids, their pets. These personal interactions have made me more understanding of everyone's home situations. By seeing these things every day, there's no denying that there's more to work than just 9 to 5. I need to understand everyone has priorities. Having learned this from this past year has made me a better leader.
One of my favorite leadership quotes that inspires my work in inclusion, diversity, and equity is this: "The worst thing that we can do as women is not stand up for each other." And this is something we can practice every day, no matter where we are, no matter what we do. Women sticking up for other women, choosing to protect and celebrate each other instead of competing or criticizing one another.
Hi, my name is Ajua Ray, President and Chief Executive Officer of Women of Praise. One leadership lesson that I've learned over the past year is that it is important to be patient with yourself and to give yourself grace as you lead through difficult times.
" 20 years from now, I want to be remembered as someone who led by example, was determined to transform the world as a better place for everyone, and passionate about ensuring that her fellow human is cared for, appreciated, and loved.
My favorite leadership quote is "The Men in the Arena" by Roosevelt. I love this quote because it's about the man whose face is covered in sweat and blood and is falling over and over again, but he keeps getting up. Our leadership journeys are quite similar. We have to come to terms with failure if we want to taste success and savor victory.
When I think about what leadership qualities we need in the upcoming year, I think about how tough this last year has been. And for me, the 2 things that really pop are joy and empathy. Both joy within ourselves, but just as importantly, the ability to spark joy in others. And then if we're going to move forward together, I think empathy is a crucial component of that.
This past year, I learned that when I led out of a place of courage and vulnerability, I was not alone. I also learned that my Latino community of Chirilagua has incredible leaders who taught me how to lead with humility and resilience.
For me, leadership is not about fancy words or big claims or great speeches. It's about the basic life skills and simple yet a powerful action, helping people around you in need and helping with what you can with your ability. It's a small action of making sure people around you smile, guiding them and providing them safety and improving their confidence. Being a cheerleader, not a dictator or authority. Thank you.
The last year's challenges have taught me about leading by creating opportunities to listen. I've worked to find ways to invite dialogue by providing room for others to speak, even when open communication is scarce, intimidating, or fraught. I've learned that a challenging and inviting question can provide more leadership than a speech or presentation can.
This last year taught me a lot about leadership. Leaders have to be strong. Leaders have dedication. Leadership is better with a little bit of humor. Most of all, leaders need teamwork. This is for all of my teammates. Thank you for being wonderful teammates.
This past year has been a hard lesson in resilience and showing up strong for my team while balancing self-care and vulnerability. It has really emphasized the importance of authenticity and empathy in today's leaders.
I have a 2-year-old daughter, so I've seen the movie Frozen a few hundred times. There's an inspiring quote at the end of the frame to Let It Go. It's when Elsa is building an ice castle on the side of the mountain. She sings, "Let the storm rage on, the cold never bothered me anyway." I love that line. What she's saying is that no matter the storm, as long as you know who you are and what magic you're capable of doing, you'll get through it and it won't be as bad as you think.
The leadership quality that I found most important over the past year was the ability to manage through change. Literally overnight, the COVID pandemic turned the way organizations operate on its head. For me, this happened in both my workplace as well as in the political organization that I lead. Managing a political organization is difficult, even in the best of circumstances. So we needed to think outside the box and do traditional things like voter contact in different ways.
"20 years from now, if someone looks back on my career, I hope that they'll say that I brought out the very best in the people with whom I worked. I believe my success is attributed to the people I have enlisted and empowered, who lead each day with a sense of purpose and passion, and have found creative ways to build a legacy in Northern Virginia."
As the world continues to reform and reshape itself coming out of the pandemic, the ability for leaders to apply the capacity for learning in one area to new areas will allow them to really think expansively, strategically, look around those corners that we see to do, and inspire others, perhaps from different backgrounds and different circumstances, to come with them on that journey.
My favorite leadership quote is attributed to an Aboriginal Australian woman named Lily Walker. She said, "If you're here to help me, then you're wasting your time. But if you've come because your liberation is bound up in mine, then let us begin." This inspires me as a leader to always listen first and then validate, support, and empower.
In the midst of a year like no other, we understand that leadership matters and caring for community matters. And as we look to the days ahead, we appreciate these 40 individuals who know the power of authenticity, resiliency, and working with all voices for a brighter tomorrow.
We all are so inspired by you and can't wait to see what's next for you. So let's just use this, as Stephen said, as a jumping off point. I hope we all leave here today and continue to be inspired so that we will go on this journey together and do more every day. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank Lisa and the Leadership Center for Excellence for inviting Leadership Fairfax to be part of the first annual NOVA 40 Under 40. We know that leadership does not stop at any arbitrary lines or demarcations in geography. So we're really pleased to be able to work with you across all these lines. So thank you again for coming, and we hope that you enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Karen. Thank you all for joining us. Thanks to Stephen and Elaine, to our 40 honorees, and certainly to our staff and volunteers who this wouldn't have happened without their support today. We're going to keep the show up, and so enjoy networking for the rest of the day. I'll look forward to coming and greeting each of you individually as I can. Thanks so much for being here.